Hey, boys and girls, it's Nancy A. Shenker, also known as the Geezerproofer. And this is the last time you'll be hearing me introduce myself as the Geezerproofer, because on October 9th, which is Ageism Awareness Day, I'm going to be announcing my rebrand. I know I've been teasing it for a while, and if you happen to be listening to this episode after October 9th, you'll know what my new brand is. So I'm keeping it under wraps until the official announcement. So I would like to lead, as I often do, by explaining the difference between a geezer and a beezer. And it's especially relevant for this, my 50th episode. So a geezer is somebody of any age who is just stuck in how they've always done things and has very strong opinions about their beliefs and their habits and refuses to make change. A beezer is somebody who be relevant, be in the moment, be a little bit of a risk taker. So when I started working with today's guest, Linda Buckman, who is a fashion stylist, and I am a total fashion girl, as many of you know, she made some suggestions about my look. And the last time I'd been through a process like that was with Jill Kirsch, who's a color stylist, and I gave Jill and Linda equal amounts of shit when they were telling me what I should do, because although I like to think of myself as a beezer, I realized that I was very stuck in my ways. For example, Jill suggested that I wear gold jewelry instead of silver, and I fought her tooth and nail. And then I started wearing gold, and I actually decided that I liked it. And Linda has a very specific system of working, which she will tell you about. And so I had to take a quiz. I had to fill out a questionnaire. And then based on that, she gave me recommendations of how I should dress. So my jacket is a motorcycle jacket, which I normally would not think to wear, but I ordered this one from Amazon. And when you see the show notes, I will give a shout out to the brands that I'm wearing. I bought this necklace, which has colorful beads on it, from the Bauble Bar. These are new glasses from Warby Parker. And then my shirt, which I've talked about on a previous episode, I bought at a vintage fair, although it's not vintage. It's a sustainable shirt from a woman-owned boutique in New York who also sells online. And you can't see my pants and my shoes, but I will post a picture of the entire outfit when the episode airs, along with show notes, so you could see how Linda helped change my look. So I am going to take my glasses off because I don't really need them for podcasting, but they're very different from the glasses that I typically wear, which are clear frames. And so let's get started. So drumroll, please. Linda, you have 25 years of experience as a stylist and a makeup artist and as a makeup producer. So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your philosophy and, most importantly, this really cool process that you've developed. And as I said, I know it's cool because I went through it myself. So please hit it,
Yes.
Linda.
Well, I just want to thank you for being your grand finale podcast. What a privilege to be the number 50. I love it. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I have been a personal stylist for over 25 years, and I am the developer and creator of the Stellar Beauty Planetary Type Style System. And after years of being a fashion designer, a professional makeup artist, and a cosmetics creator, I decided to switch gears and work with women one-on-one to help empower them to dress for themselves and to love their bodies, no matter their size, shape, age, or skin tone. I was disappointed in how the beauty industry promoted their products. I love my industry, but there were things about it that really rubbed me wrong. And they would promote their products with a promise to be the ideal beauty, to have the perfect life, and to get women to buy that new diet program or that new miracle cream. And what did this do to women? It basically made them feel less than, vulnerable, insecure, and like, well, I don't look like that, but if I use this cream, I maybe there's a chance that I'll be beautiful.
And kids as young as 9 are now shopping at Sephora because
Yes.
of the social media frenzy that they think that the aesthetic is to be as skinny as Nicole Kidman, who I want to sit on
Yes.
her and feed her a hamburger, and
Yes.
as fake and as glammed up as the Kardashians. And little
Mhm.
girls start to have an 8-year-old granddaughter. She needs to
Yes.
learn to love her face and her body at 8
Right.
years old, because
Yes.
those insecurities carry with us through us with the rest of our lives.
And I used to be a school teacher. I had second graders, little girls throwing their lunch in the trash can and talking about dieting. So,
Sad.
this whole problem has been with us for decades and decades. And there's a huge gap in the beauty industry between making someone look beautiful and helping a woman believe in her beauty. So this became my mission. I wanted to change the paradigm of beauty to be it's the woman with confidence and authenticity, not the woman with specific features or a youthful look. And I've been working on this, and part of the reason I developed this system was to find something else outside the style industry that women could relate to, that they could see their strengths and their gifts and their beauty in a new way. What happened when I first started as a stylist, I was not prepared because I would go into their homes. They seemed a little nervous. We're going into the closet. It's an intimate space. And there was an elephant in that closet. And it was the feeling of low body esteem
Oh
and
yeah,
being too fat and feeling like they're too fat.
I've always had the skinny section of my closet, and now
Yes.
I'm like at the point in my life where it's like, you know what? I am never going to be a size 2 again. I'm
Right.
just going to own that and be
Right.
happy in my skin, and that's
Yeah.
so important for all of us.
It is. And the 7 planetary types are quite amazing because it's an ancient philosophy and it still has relevance today. And when I started looking into it, I saw not only different personalities, but I saw the whole range of body types. So there's the Jupiter woman who's large, and if she tried to be small, she'd look like, her favorite sweater shrunk in the dryer. It's not right for her. She has a grand energy, and so on and so on. So got super excited about it, and it took me a long time to develop it because of the archaic writing. And a lot of it written by men favoring the Venus type, right? In some of that old language. And so I brought it up to date for the modern day woman and then developed these really chic and stylish looks for each of them that are very individual. And so, this has been my thing for a long time. And I've been using it in my business to help women. But I'm now finishing up my book, which really is sort of the master idea of all of this and how it starts with knowing yourself first and then adorning yourself accordingly.
Well,
So this inner temperament, who you are, is the most important piece
I know
before you ever get to
when
the
my
adorning part.
when my makeup artist was doing my hair and makeup today, I said that I wanted a look that was, how did I describe it? I said Stevie Nicks meets the Fonz. Because, which ties in with, and I'll let you talk about what
Yeah.
my type was, but I was a Mars.
Yes.
And, again, I was expecting something to come back saying, wear this color, not that color, do this, not that, as opposed to what was a very, very powerful brand assessment. And I'm a big branding
Right.
fanatic. Having worked at MasterCard on corporate branding, having worked with clients on personal branding, when I got out on the speaking circuit, I worked with a coach and talent advisor who really helped me hone in on my style. But here it is, 15, 20 years later, and I'm like, all right, what elements of my style do I want to keep and which ones do I want to evolve?
Right. Because we are always evolving as women and as men too, but
So
we're
what's a
always
Mars?
evolving. So our wardrobe needs to evolve with us, right? Well, we met on LinkedIn and you accepted an offer I had that I run in the fall for a free styling session to help you with a presentation, a speech, or in your case, the podcast. And that's how we met. And then you took that quiz. So the quiz is really about the inner being, the inner person in the beginning. Now, there are 2 other phases to this process, and that's looking at your physical presence, your facial structure, and so on, because they're all connected. This is the thing that women maybe don't understand is that who they are on the inside, their body's design, and their style are all connected, and they can be aligned in such a way that you feel harmony within yourself, and you're very appealing to others because you look authentic and you seem authentic. So you took the quiz, and you're more than half of your answers, because there's 12 questions, pointed to Mars, the passionate adventurer, trailblazer, and activist who isn't afraid to speak the truth, and by her example inspires people to break free of suppressive status quo standards and transform their lives. So Mars they're very, very active. They're about having a strong purpose, about changing things for the better, and about transformation. So they're not that afraid of change, and they don't mind taking a risk either. And the Mars woman lives by the motto, be the change that you want to see in the world.
I love
Always
that.
setting an example. Yes. And she has this mission-like zeal to create positive change in the world. She loves a good challenge, isn't afraid of it, has tenacity and strength and courage to overcome any obstacle that comes in her way. So a very, very strong dynamic type. And I look at her kind of as the one that goes first, that's on the battlefront, right? And is there to protect, to serve, to defend, things, and that she is always active that way. So she also needs to take breaks because she tends to work so hard, and she needs to go behind the front lines and have a cup of tea and relax
Put
and
on my little
enjoy
frilly
herself.
dress or my jammies. So, and yeah, I've been told that for years, but the way you translate it into style is
Right.
so powerful, because the reality is, at the end of the day, no matter what time it is, it could be 5 p.m, I take off my battle gear and I put
Yes.
on my Soma cooling pajamas, which kind of look
Yes.
like clothes. So if there's a fire drill, I could
You
still
can run
be
outside.
presentable outside. So
Yeah.
I'm still aware of like feeling good and looking good, even when I'm fast asleep. But my
Yeah.
style is a softer, more
Yes.
comfy style. So I have both of those parts of my personality. And the fact that your quiz, which did not take a long time to take, nailed me with such precision. And my listeners know that I wrote a book a while. My last book is called Manifestation for Skeptics, about the combination of the woo-woo and the pragmatic. And that is me in a nutshell. So yes, I'm
Yes.
off to Mars.
Yes. It's a great time to be. She's so needed in the world, right? To really get things going. And her style has to be equally as strong and dynamic as she is. She's also not conservative or follows traditional clothes. She's a little bit of a maverick, a little bit of a rebel, right? And so she wants to dress in a very individual way, but it has to match her strength and her energy. And one of the things that I think you can think about when you're getting dressed, how is this outfit going to help me step into myself,
Love
to
that. Love that.
feel who I am?
And Missy
Yeah.
Feldman, who's going to be a guest in the future, is a professional organizer, and she actually helped me organize my closet, which makes it so much easier for me to get dressed in the morning, because I say, all right, what will my persona be? If I'm going to a place where I don't want to be intimidating, I'll wear one of my flowy, tunicky floral dresses, still Stevie Nicks, but without the fonz. And
Yes.
when you first said the word jacket, the J word, it's like
Yeah.
my head immediately went back to my Citibank era, where I had to wear suits
Right.
every day.
Yeah.
So moto jacket was a new thing for me. And I was just telling you, because I didn't think the first one was going to arrive in time, I ended up with 2 motorcycle jackets, both vegan. One is hot pink velvet, and then there's this one, which is vegan leather off of Amazon.
Right.
And I also bought a swacket, a sweater jacket to wear, because I now have a piece in my closet that has lapels, that is a jacket. If I'm going somewhere that's a little bit more conservative, I could still hold on to my style, but
Yes.
maybe look a little more like a funky banker than a
Yes.
hippie chick.
There you go. The range of what you wear according to your audience and who you're going to see is really important. The moto jacket is an interesting one because I say every Mars has to have one. And there's a part of you that kind of wants to put on that armor, that protective gear, and just the idea of a motorcycle jacket, right? Like hopping on a motorcycle and, being out there and being adventurous. The moto jacket, with the way it zips and the angled lines, is very dynamic, and it speaks to that dynamic energy, that kind of a little bit more masculine energy. Stevie Nicks wore a moto jacket all the time with her flowy, fluffy skirts.
Oh, I'll have
And
to
so,
try that. The other
yeah.
thing that's really funny, which I didn't tell you, Linda, is that my grandmother, Molly, who passed away at 99, said when she was pretty close to the end of her life, if I was a couple of years younger, I would buy a motorcycle. And I have her genes. My mother was a rebel while the other moms in the 60s were wearing bouffant hairdos. My mother had a long braid down her back. And I remember being mortified as a little girl because she was different. But now that I'm 68, I'm like, fuck it. I am comfortable wearing this. I don't care what the fashion magazines say. I'm just going to be me. And
Yeah.
I am sensitive, to not wearing anything that's unflattering to my body, which I think is why I was afraid of moto jackets, because, they could be really tight at the bottom, and I didn't want, my postmenopausal belly hanging out. But you know what? This is my belly, and
Yes.
I've learned
Yes.
to love it.
Yes. I call it the Buddha belly.
Yes.
Love that Buddha belly.
And Buddha,
Right.
Buddha was great. So yes,
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
my listeners and my readers know that I accidentally gave myself an Ozempic overdose back in May. And I'm so glad it happened. It was only the one dose, which was 9 times the dose I was supposed to take. But it was so traumatic physically and mentally that I said, you know what? I'm just going to learn to love myself the way I am. I'm going to go back to doing weight training. I'm going to go back to my clean eating diet, but I don't need to put chemicals in my body just to fit this image of what a 60 and older woman should look like. And I just wish the media would stop setting up the Joan Vassoses of the world. She's the new Golden Bachelorette. Or Nicole Kidman, we were talking about her.
Yes.
That's her body type, and I'm not disparaging her, but that is not a healthy look for most women her age. So we need to just realize that our bodies are changing as we're getting older, and just own it. As my friend Tanya, who's also been a guest on my show, says, these are our badges of honor and our battle scars. She used to be in the Air Force. So I think that's the way we need to look at the body parts that may not be as supple as they were when we were 22.
And what you just did, which a Mars will do, is they're just so truthful. I mean, you wouldn't have to say that, right, to your audience, that you overdosed on this, etc., but you did. And what does that do for people? They feel like, oh, now I've really heard the truth. She's being so honest. She's being authentic. And Mars is not afraid of doing that. They stand for truth. They're about truth. They want people to be honest. And they can also pick up on when people aren't.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole lot of bullshit in the world. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm getting much, 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 much better, especially on the dating apps, of being able to differentiate between the truth and the filter, or the, the answer that you meet the person and you're like, oh, you said on your profile, blah, blah, blah. Tell me about that. And then you realize that they were, as we used to say, perfuming the pig.
Exactly. And I love what you're wearing for a lot of reasons. Another thing I said about the most dynamic line is the diagonal. So a Mars will look good in asymmetric things, off the shoulder, or a asymmetric hemline, because when you see an angled line, your eye just goes, zoop. It's like it's this active line. And the moto jacket has that automatically with the lapel, and some of them even zip to the side. So it's a great piece for that. But I also love that you're so bold in your color. This is a beautiful bold green matched with purple, amazing color combination. It's different, but it's bold, it's energetic, and I think it really expresses you very well.
And you can't see the sneakers. Let me see if I can.
Oh, I did in the picture. I love the sneakers.
I'm wearing I'm wearing sparkly, blingy gold custom Converse sneakers because I like to be comfortable. I broke my ankle
Right.
back in 2021. I don't do heels anymore except for high boots on occasion. And I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. So
Yes.
the moto jacket, when you said you have to wear a jacket, I'm like, but Linda, it's 106 degrees out. So there were a couple of guys when
Yes.
I was walking into the studio were looking at me like I was crazy. So I probably will not
Right.
keep it on most of the day.
Right. And you travel a lot, right?
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can take your moto jacket with you to colder climates
Yeah,
and
dress it up, dress it
feel
down.
hot in it. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I've seen lace dresses worn with moto jackets.
Cool. Oh, yeah, you
And
got,
that's a combination of the feminine and the masculine,
oh, now
which
you,
some women are very much so.
can you,
Both.
can you fly to Scottsdale and help me pack next week for my,
I
I'm going to Las Vegas for a conference and you just gave me a great idea because it tends to get chilly on the trade show floor. I
right.
have some really easy jackets that don't wrinkle in my suitcase and I'll just bring a plain, simple black corporate type dress and throw this on over it. And
And some cool boots in a great color would look awesome, right? That's that I'm different. I'm not traditional, and I want you to see that about me.
and
I'm exciting. I've got energy. I'm a force to be reckoned with, right?
and also something I'm really passionate about is I really do believe that women, as we age, should continue to wear clothing that's consistent with our personal brand that we feel comfortable in. And just be,
Yes.
I have done stand-up comedy, and one of my bits is just because I'm over 55, I don't have a compulsion to wear cardigan sweaters. Um,
Yes.
I've
Right.
had to wear them at various stages in my life. I went to private school,
Mm.
when my mother used to dress me up to go to synagogue when I was a kid, I probably wore cardigans. And I'm just not, I have a couple in my closet, but I'm just not a cardigan kind of
Right.
gal. And if I were to
Right.
wear a cardigan, I probably would like pair it up with boots and a mini skirt and something
Cool
outrageous.
buttons, some design to it that's different. Yeah, this is the whole thing about dressing for your age that is total crap, because there's no such thing as it. This is another example of our cultural norms telling us that we need to be, that we're over the hill and that we need to sort of retire from life, right? And what I see is that the older women get, the more wise they become, the more aware of themselves they become, and the more authentic and the freedom they feel to be authentic. So that doesn't stop. We're no less interesting. We're no less smart. We're no less exciting at 67 or 8 as we are in our 20s. And in our 20s, we don't know who we are.
But
So it gives it,
what fuels the insecurity, though, and I have had a guest on my show who was Janine Vandenberg, who was talking about ageism in the workplace, and if
yes.
you're feeling marginalized or talked down to by younger people at work, it
Mhm.
can get into your head, and you start to feel invisible or irrelevant. And we
Mm,
need to really work against that and speak up
right,
and use our voices and use our words to call out ageism and these archaic views of what a woman
right.
should do once she's past 50 or
I
60.
agree. And it's my experience that if you really are in tune with yourself and you're dressing for yourself, young people see that. So sometimes I'll go to Paris and they'll go, "Ooh, I love that dress." And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm 67. So, that's pretty great. But they will, I think they need wisdom. And as an older woman, we can be sort of like the wise elder, but to tell people it's not so bad getting older.
I know.
Right? They have this impression that it's bad to get older, but we're showing them, no, it's even more fun.
One of my goals is to wear down free people so that they accept me into their ambassador program because I never see older models on their website or in their catalog, but I must have over the past 5 years, I probably have bought thousands of dollars of free people clothes. I'm wearing their pants. I have them in 5 different colors. So
Right.
most young people can't afford to spend money on the kinds of things that I spend money on, sometimes too
True.
much. But we need more role models. Andy Swimwear does a really good job of age
Yes.
inclusivity. Dove,
Yes.
obviously, the skincare company, has been very, very adamant about casting older women in their, along with younger women, in their ads. So intergenerational inclusion is something I'm passionate about, and that's like a little sneak preview to what's coming next. So I just got the 5-minute warning. So in closing, how can people reach you, Linda, if they want to take the quiz and engage you to find out their stellar style and work with
Yes.
you to zhuzh up their look for the fall or the winter, or just
Right.
because you're having a birthday, you're not feeling good about yourself, you have a divorce, you're widowed. There are all these times when you really are ready to make a change.
That's right.
So how can they do
Yes.
that?
Well, it's pretty easy. My website is lindabuckman.com, and
Buckman.
Buckman, and right at the home page, it says, take the style quiz, or you could do lindabuckman.com/quiz. But that's where the quiz is, and you automatically get an answer back like you did, that you were a Mars, and it gave you an example of an outfit. That's only the beginning. There's many stages to this, and you actually have a secondary type that we get on a call, and we really talk about who you are, and we figure out what your style is. And I also offer this complimentary styling session on LinkedIn. So if you want to get a little experience with me and see what this is like, that's also a great way to do it. And especially if you've got a conference coming up, there's this conference season, you've got a talk you want to give, you want to wear an outfit to a wedding, something that's really important to you. And I can advise on everything from hair to shoes. So
Awesome.
because of my background and experience. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Linda. And so, as I said, this is a bittersweet episode, but there will be no interruption. Listen on October 9th. You can subscribe to my feed on YouTube, The Geezer Proofer. For now, there will be a new URL once I change over. I keep saying transitioning, changing over. It sounds like I'm dying or going through a gender reassignment, but not at all. Just a personal brand glow up. If you'd like to be a guest, you could still reach me at thegeezerproofer@gmail.com. And you can listen to the audio on Apple, on Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And if you would like to connect with me, my marketing company is called The On Switch, TheonSwitch. That is also my Instagram handle. And my link tree, which you could find on Instagram, will take you to all of the other things that I do when I'm not podcasting. So would love to connect with you. Would love to have you as a guest on my show if you have a story to tell or something to share with our audience. And thank you again, Linda. This really has been transformational for me as I go on my quest to constantly be a beezer and not a geezer. So thank you
Thanks for
again.
having me.
And thanks for listening or watching. Peace out.